Welcome to today's news on TV9. I'm Ada Show. In today's local news, this Sunday will be marking a milestone in New Zealand television history with the switching off of the analogue TV signal in Hawke's Bay and on the West Coast. And don't forget, this Sunday is also the beginning of this year's daylight saving. There's always a hype when it comes to Apple products, and the latest iPhone 5 was launched last night in New Zealand. Amy Sheen has more.
The highly anticipated iPhone 5 has finally arrived. Auckland, Wellington and Christchurch released the latest Apple product midnight on Thursday, where there were food, entertainment, music and more. Overseas, hundreds of people lined up to be one of the first to get their hands on the newest iPhone. Amy Chen, 9 News.
From Sunday 30th of September, people in Hawke's Bay and West Coast region can no longer watch TV if they don't have Freeview or Sky TV installed. Amy Fung reports.
Going Digital is a campaign that gives out information about the changes that's happening to TV in New Zealand. The analogue transmitting of the Hawke's Bay and the West Coast will be turned off from the 30th of September this year, and people without Sky or Freeview will not be able to watch TV anymore.
The whole of New Zealand's going digital by the 1st of December 2013. The first regions are the Hawke's Bay and West Coast, and they go digital on 30 September this year. That's followed by the rest of the South Island in April 2013, the Lower North Island by September 2013, and the Upper North Island, which includes Waikato, Bay of Plenty, Auckland and Northland, from the 1st of December 2013.
Sam Cummins says that New Zealanders are very welcoming towards having digital TV.
The campaign's going really well, and we're really well received where we are. We look to work with communities and community groups to inform them of the changes, and it's going really well. At the moment, over 80% of all New Zealanders are watching digital TV already, and New Zealanders are really receptive to continue to watch digital TV. Digital TV offers better pictures, more channels and better sound quality as well. And it allows people in areas where there may have been poorer reception the ability to receive really good television.
Going Digital will also free up radio spectrum, so mobile telecommunication services will be able to offer faster and cheaper mobile broadband services. Assistance will be available for people who are facing technical and financial barriers in Going Digital. More information can be found at going.co.nz. Amy Feng, 9 News.
An Independent reports into GCSB surveillance of Kim.com, and an associate has identified 2 failings in taking information thoroughly about .com's residency status before its surveillance operation. The director of the agency has released a statement apologizing for the mistakes in the Kim.com case. Watch as one bank takes a step in the digital direction in this technology-driven era. Westpac launches free mobile app to allow people putting cash into saving at the touch of a button, as well as updating the bank balance. Amy Shin has more.
It's hard to keep up with technology's constant updates, but the country's second biggest bank by assets proves itself to keep up as much as possible.
When you look at how customers want to interact, they're looking at Google, they're looking at how they interact with Facebook, they look at how they buy things off Amazon, and we've got to create experiences that are that good.
Westpac recently launched a free app for smartphones that lets people put cash into savings at the touch of a button, and an update on bank balances. And now there is a new budgeting app.
A budgeting one, which I can tell you about. So the budgeting ones, this is our latest one, which is all about realising that for a lot of Kiwis it's really hard to have a budget, and about 40% of people just can't be bothered because it's too boring or it's too complicated. So we just sort of said, can we make that a little bit fun? So all that is you can just go in through and you can choose, it's me and my dog. I can start a pre-populated budget based off that basis.
This is a smartphone era with more and more apps created to make everyday lives easier. Amy Chan, 9 News.
Prisoners' children are 7 times more likely to end up in the cell than others. This week is the Children of Prisoners Week. Charity aims to provide help and supports to cut the numbers down. Amy Fung reports.
According to a child charity Pillars, children whose parent is a prisoner are 7 times more likely to end up in jail than any other children if there is no support or help for them. And currently in New Zealand, there are about 23,000 children who had a parent in jail. Simon Walker, who is a volunteer in Pillars, has been monitoring an 8-year-old boy whose father is in jail and helping him understand that he could have a reliable male role model in his life.
Fundamentally, it's about, I think, creating intergenerational change. So it's about trying to get to the kids as young as possible who are at high risk of ending up in prison. So obviously, if you've got a parent in prison, that's a huge risk factor for that. So if you're able to wrap a bunch of things around that child, which Pillars does, you're potentially going to prevent that outcome from occurring. So that's the fundamental goal, I think, of Pillars.
The first extensive research in the needs of children of prisoners was conducted in New Zealand, and it was the largest piece of research on children of prisoners that has ever been done in the world.
So what we did is we interviewed and surveyed prisoners in just about every New Zealand prison. We talked with their families, whānau, and we talked children. And through that research, we've been able to determine what the needs are so that these children don't follow in the footsteps of their parents into prison.
She believes that the chances of a prisoner's child going to jail in the future could be reduced by acting on the findings of the research and looking into the best ways to support these children. For instance, the issue about normalization. Research found that when a child visits their parents in prison, they are more likely to go to prison because of them becoming used to the prison setup.
Sure. So what we're doing here, as you can see around you, is we're trying to create an environment where children feel relaxed and they're happy to come and engage with their dads who are in prison here. So that experience isn't traumatic.
This week is the Children of Prisoners Week, and it aims to raise awareness about children of prisoners. Amy Feng, 9 News.
New Zealand has been allocated 2,000 of the 10,000 places available for the dawn service at the 2015 centenary of the Anzac landings at Gallipoli. The remaining 8,000 have been allocated to Australia, which will hold a ballot to determine who will be able to attend. A reminder that all clocks and watches should be put forward 1 hour as daylight saving commences this Sunday 2 a.m. Firefighters suggest that this is a good time to check your fire alarms at home. Amy Fong has more.
Daylight saving commences every year on the last Sunday of September, and every year at this time, firefighters would advise people to check their smoke alarm battery.
Yeah, well, what we try and encourage the fire service wants people at this time of the year is change your clock, change your battery, and really what we're wanting people to do is change their battery in their smoke alarm so at least we know it's good for the next 12 months.
But why do people think of checking their fire alarms during daylight saving?
Hopefully it's because of the campaigns that we run just to make people more aware of that this is the time of the year. So when you're going around the house changing your clocks, I'll go and change that battery on my smoke alarm that hopefully I've got up on the ceiling in my bedroom, in my hallway or any sleeping areas where people may be in.
On Sunday the 30th of September, clocks will go forward 1 hour at 2 a.m. and 2 a.m. will become 3 a.m. And when you change your clocks, make sure you change the battery of your smoke alarms as well. Amy Feng, 9 News.
Auckland On Water Boat Show is the largest boat show in New Zealand. It is held from September 27th to the 30th at the Vaiara Harbour, with more than 200 boats and 200 exhibitors on land. Amy Fong has more.
Auckland On Water Boat Show is an opportunity for boat lovers to speak with boating enthusiasts and boat experts that represent many of New Zealand's most popular marine products. Yesterday was the opening for Auckland On Water Boat Show 2012, and this year it has gone bigger.
Well, yes, it's expanded. We've taken over the Halsey Street Wharf, so right behind me there's 2 new pavilions full of exhibits, and the new marina that we built specially for the boat show goes right around to the end of the wharf. So we're located all on one site near the Viaduct Event Centre, and there's plenty to have a look at.
Highlight of this year includes the 2 most famous yachts sailed by Sir Peter Blake.
For those who like yachting or interested in yachting, this Steinlager and Lion New Zealand that sailed around the world and won around the world races, well, you can actually go aboard those boats and see how those people lived aboard those around the world boats as they raced.
Demonstrations on how the new amphibious boats go on water and come up to the land are available, and people can see new boats, new motors and new boating equipment for the first time at this show. Seminars and boating education are also available for anyone who is interested in boating.
There's boating education. I've got a stand here, so anyone who doesn't know anything about boating but wants to know why New Zealanders are so crazy about going boating, well, there are people here that can give you a good introduction and courses to learn how to go boating. I'm very delighted with the amount of first day, and looks like we've got record numbers of people coming through, so the people are just enjoying the atmosphere down here and getting amongst it.
Anyone who is interested in boating, whether you're a beginner or an experienced boater, you'll find something of interest and enjoyment at the boat show. Amy Feng, 9 News.
Now we have a TV9 host from Asia Focus, Julie Nixon, to comment on ANZ puts Black Horse out to pasture.
This week marks an end of an era for an iconic name in New Zealand banking. The decision by the ANZ to put the Black Horse and the National Bank out to pasture, announced this week, was made for a number of reasons, including to avoid duplication. Another reason was the expiry of the licence to use the horse and the green colour branding in 2014. ANZ bought National Bank from British bank Lloyds TSB in 2003 and since then has retained its unique brand positioning in a competitive market. It can't be assumed that National Bank customers will simply roll over into the ANZ fold as the National Bank brand is phased out over the next 2 years. National Bank customers might consider moving banks, particularly as rivals like ASB and Kiwibank are likely to try to capitalise on the disruption to the market. Banking experts say the rivals could use financial incentives to lure National Bank customers over to them. The problem for ANZ is the wide gap between the two brands. The National Bank brand is more upmarket with a reputation for good customer service. It's popular with Asian customers. While ANZ has been working on improving its image, at the end of the day it has a different brand image to National Bank. Normally it's difficult for marketers to convince bank customers to change brands. It takes an earth-shattering move like dropping a brand altogether for customers to actively start reconsidering which bank to go with. ANZ has chosen to become a branded house. That is to focus on one brand rather than be a house of brands, which would involve retaining the National Bank's Black Horse and green background. The multi-brand approach, known as the House of Brands, is a strategy that's worked very well in other sectors, particularly in retail marketing, but it's not guaranteed to succeed either. Time will tell whether the ANZ has thrown out the baby with the bathwater.
Thank you, Julian. Now let's take a short break and we'll be back shortly.